Okay, last assignment from this worksheet, and this is going to be completing the square. So we're going to go step by step. Get the variables on one side of the equation. That means I want to get the variables by itself. That's x squared plus 12x. So I'm going to add 13 to both sides. So I get x squared plus 12x, leave a little bit of space, is equal to 13. Then what I want to do is I want to start in step 2. This is called completing the square. I'm trying to create a perfect squared trinomial here. So I take half of the coefficient of the x term. So half of a positive 12 is a positive 6, and I square it. That's a positive 36. And I add it to both sides. Plus 36, plus 36. This is now a perfect squared trinomial. It gets broken down into a binomial squared, and on the other side we have 49. The binomial is going to be x, because x squared, there it is, and half of this middle number, half of a positive 12 is a positive 6, and that's how we break it down. It's that simple. Solving now, I need to get to this x, so I need to undo this square. The way you undo a square is you square root. I'm going to square root the 49, but remember, when you go to the other side, put the plus and minus sign in front of it. The square root and the square cancel. That's exactly what I want to see happen. X plus 6 is equal to, plus or minus, the square root of 49 is 7. Then take each of the answers and set x plus 6. So I'm coming over here now. So I have x plus 6 is equal to a positive 7, and I have x plus 6 is equal to a negative 7. I'm going to subtract 6 from both sides, and I'm going to get x is equal to 7 minus 6. That's 1. I'm going to subtract 6 from both sides, and when I subtract 6 from both sides, I'm going to get x is equal to negative 7 and a negative 6, negative 13. And there are my answers, completing the square. All right, last one. Again, we're going to complete the square. Well, what's nice about this one is we have the x's by itself. All right, so now I want to take half of the middle term. Half of the middle term is a negative 2, and then I'm going to square it. Negative 2 squared is a positive 4. I add it to the left side, and I add it to the right side. This is now a perfect squared trinomial. It can get broken down into a binomial squared. The binomial is going to be x, and then whatever half of this number was, with the sign, half of a negative 4 is a negative 2, equals negative 3 plus 4, 1. Solving now for this, I'm going to I want to get rid of the square, so I'm going to square root. I'm going to come over to 1 and square root the 1 as well, remembering to put the plus and minus sign in front. I take the square root of a binomial squared, and they're going to cancel, leaving me with x minus 2 is equal to plus and minus. The square root of 1 is just 1. So I get x minus 2 is equal to a positive 1, and x minus 2 is equal to a negative 1. I add 2 to both sides. I get x is equal to 3. I'm going to add 2 to both sides, and I get x is equal to 1. And those are my two solutions. And that's how you solve a quadratic by completing the square.